Okay, so today we got Brewzany on our channel. As you see, he got top 10 in the last global tournament with 37 wins. And as you see in his profile, he got a top 92 finish last season. So yeah, make sure you follow Brewzany on Twitter. I'll link his Twitter down in the description. Okay, so into the first game again, 6-9. Opponent's running some bridge spam sort of log bait deck. So this matchup's quite good. And one thing to know is that you can use cannon pretty freely in this matchup, just because they don't have a tower targeting troop. Like, let's say if they have Hog Rider, you always want to save your cannon for it. So in single in this matchup, you want to play pretty safe. You see Brewzany, he doesn't play many hogs in single because he can get punished pretty hard if he goes pretty aggressive. And in double, he can go with more Hog Riders because he can defend much more easily. So here he's just going to cannon on the princess, as he recognizes the opponent doesn't have a win condition. He can use cannon on pretty much anything. And here he locks the goblin barrel and gets back to a musketeer, and here he just protects the musketeer. Okay, and here he's got musketeer coming down lane, and he'll go Hog Rider because he knows the opponent doesn't have a Mega Knight or a P.E.K.K.A. or something like that, so he can support a full health musketeer with a hog. And here he logs the rascals because it'll force out an extra response from the opponent, and here the opponent is snowballed. So they're about even on elixir now, and he's probably gonna get ready for a princess bridge maybe. Okay, so he goes Ice Bomb in the middle, anticipating a princess bridge, and the opponent's forced the princess back, and he just fireballs it. Here he doesn't support the Ice Bomb with Hog because it would be a bit aggressive, and he's not going to get punished. So here he's about to hit 10 elixir, he just goes Hog Rider. The opponent responds with a Dark Prince, and it's quite surprising that you let it go. Hog got 2 hits, which is like an insane amount of damage. And here it just cannons on defense once again because it's cheaper than Musketeer. And it like prevents Princess Bridge as well. So here the opponent gave 3 fireball value on the bandit. He doesn't log the goblin barrel, which is quite interesting. And here he's just going cannon in the middle again, and then he takes that log value. In this matchup, you sometimes you don't log the goblin barrel because they can give you a lot of value with the rascals in the deck. And here he goes hog and gets a hit. Okay, so here the cannon will just clean up Dark Prince. He goes cannon for the princess, skellies for the Dark Prince, and then he's gonna probably not log the goblin barrel. Yeah, look at this really smart play. He doesn't log the goblin barrel, logs the rascals. If he didn't do that, then he could have been in like really big trouble. And he just cannons with defense, distracts all these troops at the bridge, and then waiting until 10 elixir. And as you see, he's not hogging because the opponent could like build up a really big push. Okay, so here he's playing really passive, fireballing the princess, just logging the goblin barrel, playing it pretty safe. And he doesn't want to go into the cannon cart because that's usually quite a bad idea. And he's just protecting his musketeer here, just fireballing just to be safe. And here he's just playing super safe. You can probably like just Hog Rider and get some damage, but you can play super safe as well if you you really need the win. So he's just going opposite lane because he doesn't want to go same lane of the cannon cart. He's probably just going to cannon defense here. Let's see, cannon defense, maybe log that on the left. Yep. So if they give you massive log value, just take it. And you can always fireball the goblin barrel, so it doesn't really matter. You see he's placing his cards away from the bandit because the opponent predicted something twice, I believe, the bandit. So here he's just going Hog Rider again, putting on some dual lane pressure. He gets a hog hit, which is really good, and he just needs a fireball and 2 logs, but there's 14 seconds left, it doesn't really matter. Just go in cannon just to be safe. Fireball to the tower, just because why not, and then logs are going barrel. Okay, so jumping into the second game against catch up. So the opponent's running some RG deck with Fisherman Cage. So this matchup can be quite hard because the hog can hardly get the tower just because of the 2 really good hog counters. But the key is to basically Ice Golem hog whenever a cage is out of hand. And the defense shouldn't be that hard, purely because they can't kill your musketeer. But if they have log, it could be a bit harder, but in this case he's got fireball and bar barrel, so he can't really kill the musketeer. And also whenever the opponent goes RG back, you're going to see that he goes musketeer back always in the corner. Okay, so here he goes skellies in the top. As you see that placement, the Dark Prince requires 2 hits. And here he recognizes the opponent doesn't have the cage in cycle, goes Ice Golem hog. Opponent gets back to a cage, but this is like really good musketeer value. He goes Ice Golem log. He doesn't need musketeer here. And then he might just Ice Golem hog again. Let's see. He goes Ice Golem. Okay, so he doesn't hog because the opponent goes Dark Prince to the back. So he just sets up a musketeer at the back. So the opponent fireballs the musketeer, the 1 HP musketeer, so he's going to protect it and then probably go hog here. Yep, you always want to support a 1 HP musketeer because it always forces out response. As you see here, it forces out a mega minion, which is like insane value. 3 elixir for a 1 HP musketeer. And then the opponent messes up the king activation, which is really good. So the fisherman will just die to the tower, the opponent goes RG back. You see, he's gonna probably go musketeer. Yeah, he goes musketeer to the back. He doesn't hog because he wants to make sure he can defend first. And there's a cage there, and the opponent has fisherman. So you usually don't really want to push in that situation. Okay, so here he doesn't go with his second musketeer on the right because he's anticipating RG in the left, so he just cycles to another musketeer in the left, distracts everything, and then yeah, it's a pretty clean defense there. So the opponent goes Dark Prince to the back, anticipating a hog. He just plays safe and goes musketeer at the back, and he's probably gonna he goes hog left purely because the opponent has cage. It doesn't really matter if the opponent doesn't matter which side he hogs because the opponent's going to cage either way. So here the opponent RG's back, he goes musketeer once again, and he can probably hog. Okay, so the opponent anticipates a hog with the mega minion, and then here he's just protecting the musketeer. Fireball the Mother Witch to be safe. The mega minion somehow gets a hit. Oh, okay. It got hit because it only took damage from the Ice Golem death damage. Okay, so here he's just doing the same thing over and over again. As you see, he's not doing many Hog Riders purely because it'll give the opponent counter push. Because, like, no matter what he plays, the opponent will get counter push. Like, if they go Goblin Cage, if they go Fisherman, he's just waiting for the right opportunity to actually hog. That hog could actually be a misplay because he had Ice Golem in hand. The hog does somehow get a hit though, but I think he was trying to Ice Golem. Okay, so here he's just going Ice Golem in the middle, going Musketeer again. The Musketeer High is quite interesting, but he can protect it from the Barbarian with a log. And here he's just making sure he defends every RG perfectly. making sure he just cycled back to a second musketeer every time. And here he's not even going to hog, he's just going to defend. And then probably just fireball if he needs to. Yep, so he fireballed there because he knew the RG probably was going to get the tower, and it's like 500 HP separating. So it doesn't really matter, he just fireballed the tower because why not, and takes a win. Okay, so we're in a third game, again THC Rocket. So he's running Drill Cycle, which is one of the hardest matchups in this meta. So he just goes Hog Rider first play because it's a fine play. If you have cannon in hand, you can't really get punished for it. So for drills, you can defend it with an Ice Spirit and a log, skeletons and a log. And you can also defend it with like a cannon and a log, but that's quite expensive. So here, let's see if he hogs. So he doesn't hog. Okay, Ice Gun hogs. And then the opponent bombers, and then goes Tesla. And in this matchup, you'll see Brewzany go cannon in the middle a lot. Because, yeah, purely because of this, the dual lane pressure. If you go cannon in the middle, it'll prevent the dual lane pressure. And it'll sort of prevent the drill in the middle. I mean, a drill at the front. So, yeah, the opponent's just cycling here, making sure he has Tesla. So Brewzany can't really get any hog damage. So he's making sure he doesn't take any Fire Spirit damage because that does more than a fireball. And here, let's see if he cannon in the middle. Yep, he goes cannon in the middle. So here the opponent drills, and he's probably gonna Ice Spirit log. Let's see. Yep, Ice Spirit, then log, fully counters drill, apart from the spawn damage, obviously. And then he goes Ice Golem Hog once again. And he gets like a really good fireball off here. And it gets Hog one hit, which is pretty nice. So it just hits double elixir, which is quite good. If it didn't hit double, then he probably could have been in trouble there. So here he just logs the drill. Dark Prince is not going to do anything, so he just lets it go. Once he hits 10, he goes Hog here for the Fire Spirit. That's actually quite a good play a lot of the time. Using your Hog as a tank, and it also forces out a response. So here the opponent's just cycling. He fireballed the bomber because the opponent, he's got like, doesn't have much damage on both towers, so it doesn't really matter. So just hogs, and the opponent messed up Tesla getting the hog one hit, which is pretty nice. Because cannon in the middle again prevents the wall breaker's drill push being pretty threatening. And then he hogs on the left once again. Hogs at the same time the opponent pushes, so it allows him to outcycle much easier in that way. So the opponent goes wall breaker back, which is quite interesting, but it's only quickly cycles to Ice Golem Hog. Goes cannon, and he's breaking a log here. And then he's going to be back to another hog, which he's probably going to do on the right lane. Ice Golem Hog, and the opponent is super low on elixir. As you see, he did one Hog Rider when the opponent went drill wall breakers, I believe. And then it allowed him to put the opponent in a really awkward situation. And here, look at the cannon getting insane amount of value. So, so he was in a super awkward situation there because he had to deal with the drill and the Dark Prince, so he chose to Ice Golem the drill, so he had to hog the Dark Prince. So here he's just cycling. He's he's up quite a bit of damage, which is really good. And here you can outcycle once again. And the opponent goes drill wall breakers again. So, and he fireballs, which is like insane because he doesn't cycle his cheap cards, which allowed Brewzany to outcycle. And he got the hog hit, which is really nice. And the opponent's just spamming his expensive cards here, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't really need a hog hit. 17 seconds left. He's up around 900 damage. And just ice comes defense, logs. Fire Spirit jumps, but it doesn't matter. 4 seconds left. Fireballs just to be safe. And yeah, that is how you beat Drill Cycle. Okay, so we're jumping into our fourth game against Trainer Toby. So he's running the new bridge spam deck with Drill, with Mother Witch, and Cancart. So this matchup you want to play dual lanes, because you don't want to be focused in one lane, because if you do, they'll just stack troops in that one lane and you won't be able to get any damage in double elixir. So you need to make sure you get damage on both lanes, so even if they like Cancart one lane, you can hog opposite. So once again, single, you don't want to be that aggressive. And just fireball mode, that's just free fireball value. I don't know why he did that. Opponent is probably going to Cancart because fireball is out of hand by Brewzany. And he hogs left. As you see, he's not focusing in one lane. He wants to get damage on both towers. And in this matchup, you can like pretty much cannon pretty freely because the opponent only has Drill. And as you see, it's kind of awkward here. He can't just ice spread and log. And he gets an insanely good log, pushing the bandit back, so the skeletons that counter the Drill help kill the bandit. So here he realizes the opponent very low on elixir. It can only E-Wiz, and he can counter E-Wiz pretty cheaply. You can counter E-Wiz with like 1 elixir skeletons fully and with an ice spirit if you didn't know. So here, let's see what the opponent's going to do. He's going to Cancart on the back. That's free fireball value. Okay, and then the opponent goes Dark Prince Drill opposite lane. So cannon that spot pretty good. And wow. Bit of a mistake here. I think the Ice Golem was just a big mistake, but then Trainer Toby just overcommits so hard, no matter which, allowing Brewzany to get an Ice Golem Hog Rider on the tower, and the opponent was super low on elixir, and he just got the damage lead back. So, and he got a damage lead on the left tower, which is like insanely good because he can just keep cycling Musketeer in that lane, and he doesn't care about fireball value. So here, he's just gonna cannon on defense because the opponent doesn't have like a win condition. And here, he's just gonna play pretty safe, I believe. He Spirit Skellies the Cancart, and then he's just protecting the Musketeer here. He can freely cycle Musketeer on the left, which is super nice. And yeah, he's just gonna protect it. Okay, so here he just gets a second cannon down. Opponent just keeps going same lane, which is actually probably the play because Brewzany really wants to attack in the left side tower now, purely because there's 600 damage left. And he sacrifices a Musketeer, but it doesn't really matter. He's just going to protect this first Musketeer. He logs and kills him on the Witch, which is really nice. He can hog here because there's nothing clogging up the lane. The opponent drills at the same time, which is really good, and then he fireballs, and then the hog takes the tower. Okay, so we're jumping into the fifth game against Trainer Toby once again. So possibly Trainer Toby sniped, but he sniped with Bar Barrel, which is quite interesting. Because, once again, as you saw in the earlier matchup, the opponent could not kill the Musketeer. So here, Brewzany is probably expecting Drill. Let's see what he does. Opponent fireballs the Musketeer. And then he just hog righted with the Ice Golem. And then opponent activates King, which is not great. But it doesn't really matter because once Goblin Cage is out of hand, he can just Ice Golem hog, and it doesn't really matter that the King's activated. So here the opponent just cycled both his hog counters, so he can go in here, fireballs a Mother Witch, and hog gets two hits, which is pretty nice. That's a really good start. And then he defense orders with just a log Ice Spirit. Okay, so the opponent's up about 3 elixir, but it doesn't really matter. So Toby just sets up a Goblin Cage in the middle. And then he breaks an RG back because Brewzany won't be able to hog rider to punish. That's probably why he did Cage first. So here he's going Musketeer in the back once again. That's what you always want to do when he does RG back. And you want to protect it from the bar barrel. So you gotta be careful of that. Like try and catch the bar barrel with like an Ice Spirit or something. As you see, he did Ice Spirit here. And Musketeer is alive. And then he's protecting the Musketeer even more with an Ice Golem. I mean with a Hog Rider. And it baits out Cage, which is like really good because that's a hog counter that's probably like the scariest. So here Cage out cycle, you can Ice Golem hog, no fireball. And then opponent cycled back to Cage, but he had to cycle Fisherman to get to it. So he can just outcycle like both his counters once again. So here he's just protecting his Musketeer. Let's see if he hog riders. Yep, he hogs because the opponent has no counters in hand. And he gets a really good fireball here. And he tries to protect the Musketeer, but he failed, but it doesn't really matter. And he's up quite a bit of damage now. Purely because he caught the opponent's cycles out of hand. Like a couple times, even though he's got Fisherman and Cage. So here he's just doing the same defense once again. As you see, he's cycling, he's going cannon 1 tile higher than like the optimal placement as people normally do against stuff like Column or G. He does that because the opponent has fireball and he doesn't want to give the opponent fireball damage on to his right tower. So here he's got supporting Musketeer and gets an insane fireball. Hog gets even more damage. And here he's just going cannon on defense. And since he got that insane fireball value, the opponent's not really up that much elixir. So he's just protecting his Musketeer here. Opponent did quite a bad Mother Witch actually. It just dies to the Musketeer and gets no value whatsoever. So opponent's just struggling here to get any sort of damage because he just can't kill the Musketeer. Look at this. The 1 HP Musketeer just kills everything and it forces out a bar barrel. Yep. And then you can just cannon in the middle. Quite a weird play. But it doesn't really matter because it gets quite a lot of value here. And he can always cycle back to another cannon. But that's a play you don't want to do in single elixir. Or double, really. Triple, you can do that. Okay, so jumping into a 6th game here. Again, Riley. Oh, Riley is usually a not great player. But I believe he was running Drill in this GT, so he's running Lava Loon with Bomber and Snowball. So I believe he was trying to snipe something. I don't think he was trying to snipe Brewzany because this matchup isn't even that bad. Most people think Lava Loon is quite a bad matchup for 2.6, but 2.6 does like have the slay matchup, to be honest. And Riley doesn't even have minor, which is like even better. So here Riley goes balloon, knowing the Musketeer's out of cycle, but he goes with a really good cannon, pulling the cannon over to the Musketeer range, and then let's see what he does. So Riley does a high Valkyrie, quite interesting. And as you say, Brewzany's not going Hog Rider. He's like waiting for the right opportunity to hog. So here he's just gonna cycle Musketeer first, purely because he can cycle back to another Musketeer quicker. You see, he goes Musketeer then Hog Rider because he'll be one card quicker to his Musketeer. So he just lets his Musketeer die. He just goes cannon here. The opponent's quite low, so he can't even fireball. So he's gonna quickly cycle back to a Musketeer here. And let's see, he doesn't even need to fireball this. Like, look at his defense. Insane defense here. Opponent could not do anything about that. So he's probably not going to support his Musketeer. Yeah, he goes Hog Rider left, purely because it'll force out more response. He had to, as you see, he had to do Valkyrie and Inferno Dragon. That's 8 elixir, which is insane. Meaning the opponent cannot go with another lava push. But here, let's see what Brewzany does. He pushes here, which is quite interesting because he might struggle to defend here. Oh, okay, never mind. The opponent just gives him a free defense. He just cycles a loon, allowing Brewzany to pull that loon forward, giving him an insanely easy defense. You see, he's probably just going to protect his Musketeer here, cycle back to a second Musketeer. This defense is not going to be any trouble. Okay, just fireballs, gets an insane fireball, gets back to the second Musketeer, and yeah, 10 seconds left, and that's a good game. Okay, so we're jumping in our final game here. It's against Drill Cycle, as you say, Brewzany's on the top here. And yeah, be quite nice to see what he does here. So he goes Hog Rider first play, and opponent on Tesla, and he misplaces a drill, getting him like 3 hog hits, which is really, really nice. So he just gets 3 log value here, just goes Ice Spirit, it's gonna get chip. And he just goes Musketeer in the back. So that's like one of the best starts you can get against Drill. That's why Hog first play is pretty good. So here the opponent fireballs, which pushes the Musketeer forward, making him fail the Ice Golem. It doesn't really matter here. He goes Ice Spirit and Log once again from the Drill. And Fire Spirit is just right into a Log. He just hogs because he hits 10 elixir. So he's probably just gonna cycle maybe Ice Golem. Yep, cycle Ice Golem in the back. Waiting for the opponent to do something. And he's just gonna slowly cycle to another Hog Rider. So as you see, he's doing the cannon in the middle once again. Even though the opponent has wall breakers, it prevents the Fire Spirit and the Bomber from doing anything. So here he does Ice Spirit Logs once again, and he does a high Tesla, which is such a bad play. You see the opponent got no Tesla. So he goes Ice Golem Hog, and the opponent does not fireball, allowing the Hog to get 1 hit, which is really, really nice. And here he's probably just gonna constantly get Ice Spirit chip, fireball when he wants to, because the opponent will catch up on damage really, really quick once he starts doing drill fireballs. As you see, he's starting the fireball cycle. The opponent starts his fireball drill cycle, and yeah, you always gotta make sure you keep up that damage lead, because if you don't, Hog won't be able to get any damage, and yeah, you will probably lose the game because the opponent will constantly drill fireball. So here, the opponent goes Bomber Valkyrie drill fireball. So look at his cycle. He just made his cycle super slow, allowing Brewzany to get one extra hog hit. So he fireballs once again because why not? And then just cannons in the middle again. Yep, cannons in the middle. Prevents any sort of push from the opponent. And then Ice Spirit log on the drill every time. And the cannon just deals with everything else. And he just outcycles Tesla once again. Opponent has a Tesla in a super awkward spot, allowing Brewzany to fireball it. And he gets another hog hit. Yeah, he's up so much damage now he can just fireball twice. But he's gonna keep up the pressure because the opponent didn't have Tesla there. So yeah, it forced out fireball. It means the opponent can't drill fireball, so he can defend pretty easily. Brewzany just fireballs tower, and he just needs to cycle back to one more fireball. He's saving log for the drill. So here he's just gonna log the drill and just fireball the tower, and yeah, good game.